How about 4 blockbuster trade proposals for the Yankees for this deadline that's coming in less than 3 weeks? I talked about other trades already, and you've heard about them. If you haven't, take a look in the description. There's a whole bunch of videos recently. Talked about the Pirates. I've talked about the Angels. I've talked about the Detroit Tigers. I've talked about a bunch of other teams. And these 4 proposals could be springboards to some of those other trades as well. But these are palatable trades here, trades that can easily happen, I think, or come close to happening if the Yankees would actually exercise, some boldness here and be proactive and not let other teams skip ahead of them. They have the opportunity here to kind of revamp things and really, really retool without having to go into a full rebuild. Okay, that's what selling and buying is. That's why we're doing both. Okay, but and you've heard me talk about the Rich Rodriguez trade from Pirates and Adam Frazier, Brian Reynolds. Well, these types of trades can potentially lead to something like that because that's going to cost a ransom or a Ketel Marte or whatever it is. Multi-positional player, player trades. So I want to go over these and I want you to let me know what you think. Number 1, Gleyber Torres and Chad Green over to Cincinnati for Luis Castillo. And I know there was a proposal in the offseason for Torres and of Torres and for Castillo straight up. The Yankees rejected it. They probably regret that now, but Castillo is also a struggle this year. And he's had a better stretch recently, but he's still a frontline starting pitcher and a bona fide number 2 right behind Gerrit Cole. And like I said before, Cole needs either a co-ace or a legitimate number 2 with him, behind him, to kind of not only push him, but to stabilize the rotation so that takes some of the pressure off of him as well. So this right here is a legitimate trade. And again, you're moving Torres, yes, but it allows you to move Gio to shortstop if you want, DJ to third. You can even call up Hoi-Jun Park for second for a meantime, okay, in the meantime. And if they want to go get a free agent shortstop like Corey Seager in the offseason, then you can move DJ back to second, Gio to third, and then you have Seager at short, okay? And then you have Voit at first. Much better defensive infield. Much better defensive. And it's more lefty now, too. More lefty. And then you have Hoi-Jun Park backing up all the players or something like that. But this right here gives them that frontline starter that they need. And they're going to have to give up pieces like this to get a frontline starter. There is no 2 ways about it. Okay? Let's put the Max Scherzer pipe dream away. That's not going to happen. Now, I know, and if you have heard, but the Los Angeles Dodgers essentially today have decided to take all Trevor Bauer merchandise out of the shelves, off the shelves in their stores. And they've canceled the bobblehead day. So that tells me that this is probably a little bit more serious than we thought. And my guess is if he doesn't come back this year, then the Dodgers are probably going to wind up getting Max Scherzer. They have enough to get him and the boldness enough to not only get him, but to give him an extension for a couple of years. So, and they're that good. I mean, they have the resources and the farm. End of story. So, but that's trade number 1. Trade number 2. Now, I was just talking about Luke Voit. Well, we're going to move Luke Voit. Luke Voit and Davy Garcia and Josh Breaux, Breaux, one of their catching prospects, who I think they drafted in like 2017 to 2018, I think in the second round. He over to the Cleveland Indians for Jose Ramirez. Yes, the superstar Jose Ramirez, one of the top hitters in baseball, good lefty bat, good defensive player. And we're swapping a first baseman and a pitcher and a catcher for a superstar first baseman. So, that to me, could you imagine that now? I mean, if you got, let's say you got Seager at second, DJ at, Seager at short, DJ at second, Gio at third, and Jose Ramirez at first. That is an elite defensive infield. Elite, super duper elite. And half of them are lefties. Unlike now where they're all righties. So, with the exception of Odor, who doesn't start. So, and again, this frees up positions now to give other guys a chance, other infielders, other outfielders. So, this to me is another palatable trade. And can you imagine at this point bringing in Luis Castillo and Jose Ramirez? The team is set up nicely, really nicely for the next couple of years. Okay? Trade number 3, and this is the most unpopular one, I'm going to imagine. Aaron Judge over to the Seattle Mariners for Julio Rodriguez, their number 2 prospect, an outfielder. George Kirby, the number 4 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. Cal Raleigh, a number 6 prospect, a catcher. And Brendan Williamson, the number 8 prospect, a left-handed pitcher. 4 top 10s, 2 of which are pitchers, 2 of which are offensive players. And again, a couple of these you could flip to another team. Maybe if they had a chance to get a Jose Berrios too. Imagine bringing in Castillo and Berrios. Whole new rotation with Cole. Whole new rotation. So, just a thought. But that also gives them an opportunity to maybe keep this elite outfield prospect, okay, to replenish what they just gave up. If not, then they can keep the catching prospect, because they do have Esteban Florial, they have got Tranberger, they've got other players in the system who can come in and adequately perform their outfield duties. And they're mashing the ball to AAA. So now we've moved Judge, we've moved Voit, we've moved Torres, the three most tradable assets on this team, and Green. There's a couple other ones, Jonathan Loaizaga, Gio's movable, but I definitely would not move Gio. Chapman's maybe movable, but I think he'll be a tough one, but because of his situation as well, and and being able to veto teams. He has a partial no trade clause, and that includes teams on the West Coast. My guess is if he decides to waive it, team's going to have to give him another year or something like that, and he's got to show that he's kind of back on track too. So I don't expect Chapman to get moved anytime soon. But that's trade number 3. And last but not least, trade number 4, Gary Sanchez and Clint Frazier to the Atlanta Braves, who need a catcher and they need an outfielder. Okay, for Shea Langoliers, who's their number 3 prospect, a catcher. Okay, Kyle Muller, their number 5 prospect, a left-handed pitcher, and one of their backup major league catchers right now, Alex Jackson. Okay, so getting 2 prospects and a backup catcher. And you get this kid, platoon him with Kyle Higashioka. They did release Robinson Chirinos recently, so I think he just signed with the Cubs, if I'm not mistaken. So he's away, and then they have Austin Wells developing, some of their other catching prospects, continuing to develop as well. But now they're moving Sanchez and Frazier. Frazier's controllable until 2025. Sanchez is not, but the Braves need more bats, and this gives them an opportunity to get a bat. And at least Clint Frazier gives him that outfield bat. I think he's due for a change of scenery in a new place. And again, with Marcell Ozuna's situation now potentially becoming more serious, Clint Frazier gives them another option out there. And I think with that lineup, a more young, dynamic lineup, I think, a change of scenery for him, I think he'll thrive, or he would thrive in Atlanta. So now then you moved, so you moved Sanchez and Frazier and Judge, Voit, and Torres. But look what you're getting back. You're getting Luis Castillo and Jose Ramirez. So that's, it's pretty serious firepower. And then you're getting a boatload of top prospects who you can use some to flip and maybe get, like I said, a Jose Berrios. Or now I'd be going for calling the Pittsburgh GM and saying, hey, can we make a package here for Brian Reynolds and Rich Rodriguez? Super utility guy. He was pretty much the crown jewel of that team. And Rich Rodriguez, elite reliever. So I would be all over that one. I think at this point, because I don't think the Yankees have what they would want right now. Making trades like this to boost that farm would be able to give them a more robust package to get a group like that. And then could you imagine that? Getting Rich Rodriguez and Brian Reynolds, Luis Castillo, and Jose Ramirez, in a couple of moves. Oh, God, that's a nice return. Okay, and again, but it's combining buying and selling. They're not punting in the season. They don't have to. Okay, but they're not becoming full-out sellers, full-out buyers. They're doing both. Okay, and that's what they have to do. Instead of pandering to maybe one superstar or something like that, they have to do what they need to do to make the team better. This isn't basketball where one superstar can make that much of a difference on a 5-man roster, on a 5-man team on the floor. This is completely different. Okay, so they need players across the board. They need pitching, and we all know they need more pitching. And the relief, pitching for them has been more suspect the second half right now, or the last month or so, last month and a half. With injuries, Aaron O'Day again, he's back on the injury list. He apparently felt something pop in his hamstring yesterday while he was warming. I don't know if he's doing kung fu kicks while he was warming up or something, but something popped in his hammy, so that didn't sound good. But then you have Justin Wilson and Zach, Britton, who've been consistently injured this season. So bringing in the guy like Rich Rodriguez, another elite major league arm, gives him that protection. And by moving Chad Green, not only did they bring in Rodriguez, but you're able to, call up one of the young power arms. So, and the Yankees have done a really good job at developing good bullpen arms over the last decade or so. Much better than any other position. Way better than starting pitchers. Because like I said in another video, the last pitcher I thought that I can think of that they actually developed that had a good career was Andy Pettitte. That's a long time ago. So they need to do a better job at developing starting pitchers. So, I mean, Luis Severino has got an elite potential, but not an elite performance. Not an elite record. So he had one good year, but that's not enough. Sorry. So these types of moves can be great moves themselves, can also be springboards to some other moves. And again, adding to the prospect package allows them to kind of flip people to other teams and bring in a guy that they would want. That's in my opinion. I'm not saying all these can happen, but could you imagine the possibilities of a couple of them happening? And again, these aren't the trades that I was talking about recently. You know, the more obvious. And I didn't even mention Taillon Marte. Okay, they could package some of these to Arizona for Taillon Marte. They could. I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, Taillon Marte or Brian Reynolds, I would take either one. I really would. Or maybe they could just get, you know, or if they got a Rich Rodriguez and no one else, or Rich Rodriguez and Adam Frazier, that would be a nice package too. Not as big as Rodriguez and Reynolds, but that would be a nice package. So there's a lot of possibilities that the Yankees would have, but they have to be willing to be bold and not afraid to make moves like this for the betterment of their franchise and their team. This is the type of stuff that makes them. It's the one step back to take 4 steps forward philosophy for the next couple of years. And again, don't pay into the 1 or 2 superstars. It's not worth it. It's time to, you know, revamp this team in such a way that doesn't feel like a total revamp. And they can do this. This is the Yankees. They have plenty of money. They have got the resources. And again, you know, you don't go over the luxury tax unless you're going to make bold moves like this. You're not going to go over for somebody who there's no guarantee you're even going to get a second wild card spot. No, you make moves like this. And they're offsetting salary too with Judge and Voit and some of these other guys. So some of it's going to get. It's not like they're going to go to $250 million, $260 million like the Dodgers did when they won the World Series. So just something to keep in mind. But let me know what you think of these trades. Let me know if you have any of your own. Talk to you next time.